Hey everybody, welcome to Facebook Live Ask Admissions. My name is Jordan Stevenson. I'm the Director of Student Recruitment, and I feel like I was just here because we had virtual open house last week.
Yep.
And it doesn't feel like it's long enough time between that time and this time. But we're back again on Facebook and on YouTube. So you may be checking this out on YouTube. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you just came straight to Facebook. But really excited to share some very important information with you today. We have an incredibly special guest, one of our favorite people. So I'll let them introduce themselves. Fire away.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jacinta Luster. I'm the Manager of Admissions for Special Populations.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarah Baumhoff. I am the Interim Director of Student Support in the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid.
Ooh, your title might be longer than Jacinta's
I
title.
know, they just keep adding stuff to
I'm in
it.
good company with you, Sarah.
Another comma, another yes,
It's a
colon.
competition now.
Yeah.
Whose title can be the longest?
Jordan, add some more stuff to my time.
We'll work on that. Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah. Well, when you deal with all the money like Sarah does.
Yeah, oh, that's true. You
yeah.
deserve that title.
That's right. You do. Well, as you've already heard, and I hope that you actually saw Sarah's session last week from Financial Aid during Virtual Open House. If not, this is a little bit of a news nugget. I'm going to take that from WSB. I listen to way too much talk radio.
Fred.
News nugget, huh?
Listen to Fred Blankenship.
Yeah, a little bit. He's on there a little bit.
He's pretty good
the
in the
TV.
morning.
I'm more on the radio. But so we call this portion News from the Nest. A little bit of updates and things like that. So one of the big updates was if you missed Virtual Open House last week, you can watch all of the videos. We had 15 different sessions during Virtual Open House. So they're here on Facebook. They're also on YouTube. So if you want to go and learn about your intended major, you want to learn about financial aid and scholarships, you want to learn about housing and dining on campus, or what student life is doing, all of that is accessible through the videos that we recorded last week. So they were live last week. You can actually go in there and see some of your peers' comments, other parents' comments, things like that, and see our responses too. So go check out those videos. They're there, again, on Facebook and on YouTube. And hopefully you'll learn some new things. And that's partially why you participate in days like today, that you get to learn some new things. So other stuff going on. So we've given this update quite a bit, but it's always interesting in admissions to hear the things that students don't know and families don't know. So big update that we've had out there for a little while. We're not requiring the SAT or the ACT for any 2021 term. So spring, summer, fall, no SAT or ACT requirement to be admitted to the university. That includes dual enrollment, that includes the honors college, and that includes just general admission. So hopefully that's relieving for you out there. If you're worried about standardized testing, check our website, admissions.kennesaw.edu. You can read up on the requirements. It's just a 2.6 academic GPA for first-year students, and then no test score requirements. So if you're coming in as a first-year student, pretty straightforward. All right. Big deadline dates to pay attention to. If you're interested in spring 2021, so that's this next available semester, our deadline date is coming up. It's November the 20th for all student populations. So you've got about 3 weeks?
About 3 weeks.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
About 3 weeks. So get it done. Not too long. But November 20th, get it all in. That's your application deadline. The document deadline is December the 1st. So turn in your application. We've got about another week and a half to get in all of your documents for spring 2021. If you're interested in fall 2021, a big deadline date is coming up on Monday, next Monday. That's November the 2nd is our priority deadline. This is for first-year students looking to come for fall 2021. Why should you apply priority deadline?
Why, Jordan?
Why? I'm going to tell you.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
I was like, should I ask?
My brain was saying you should ask Jacinta and throw her off right now. But
Too quick.
But my brain also said that was cruel, and then you blocked it. So good job, Jacinta.
She was ready.
Yeah, she was.
ready.
Why, Jordan? Yeah, when in doubt, always ask a question, and it deflects.
Yep.
So well done, Jacinta. No, why should you apply priority deadline? If you're sitting out there and you haven't applied yet to the university, let me tell you why. A couple of big things. One of them we're talking about today. The scholarship application opens November the 1st. So the day before the priority deadline, scholarship application opens this Sunday, November the 1st, for the next academic school year. So it'll open November the 1st, stay open all the way until
March 1st.
March 1st, perfect, thank you. And so you've got 5 months to get your scholarship application in. Well, you can't do your scholarship application if you haven't been admitted to the university. So you need to apply by our priority deadline so you can get admitted as soon as possible for fall 2021 and go ahead and fill out the scholarship application that opens up the day before the priority deadline. Other big things, housing is going to open on December the 1st. So the housing application, if you want to live on campus, on the Marietta campus, on the Kennesaw campus for fall 2021, you need to get in your housing application as soon as possible. And it behooves you to apply by the priority deadline because that means you're going to get a decision in time to fill out the housing application when it opens. Also, orientation, very important, especially here at a big university. If you want your preferred schedule, you don't want to have to take those 8 a.m. math classes, right? You don't want to have to take a 7 p.m. English class. Then you want to make sure you get a preferred schedule. And how do you do that as a new first-year student coming into the university, or even as a transfer student coming into the university? You attend orientation. Orientation is going to open December 1. So you should apply priority. Also, a big thing that I always talk about is, well, what are you waiting for?
Right.
Like, really, what does it matter? If you're going to apply to Kennesaw State, what's the difference in applying now on October the 29th versus applying, say, February 15th, right? I mean, it's really no big deal. So I will encourage you, as Nike said it very well, just do it. The application shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes. Very straightforward. Fill it out. Get us your supporting documentation, whether you're, in the case of the students we're talking about right now, a first-year student, get us your high school transcript, get us your dual enrollment credit. So if you've gone somewhere and you've earned dual enrollment credit, we need that college transcript as well. Get us those transcripts, and then we can make a decision on you really quick. Then you can fill out the scholarship application, opens November 1st. Fill out the housing application, opens December 1st. Fill out orientation, sign up, that opens December 1st as well. So there you go. Very important. Make sure you're hitting priority deadline. Okay, but the big thing that things that we're here to talk about today, scholarships.
Scholarships.
And then also, because it's always somewhat in that same realm, financial aid. So, and Sarah's an expert in both. So we got the right person.
So if you've been listening to Facebook Lives before, you've heard Jordan talk about Scholarship Universe. And he has talked about how you can search for scholarships on there. And it's this great site, and you match to scholarships. Well, the internal scholarships are on there now too. So you'll actually see what internal scholarships you match to. It is still one application. You still don't have to fill out multiple applications. It's one application. But this, if you haven't been on Scholarship Universe before, it asks you matching questions. So it will ask you, and the more questions you answer, the more scholarships you match to. And so Jordan mentioned the scholarship application. It doesn't close till March 1st. So there's no rush to be first to fill it out. It's not first come, first serve. They are not reviewed until it's closed. So you've got plenty of time. You'll need an essay, and so you've got plenty of time to work on that, get a second pair of eyes to look at it. We recommend that you do it like in Microsoft Word or something like that so that you can spell check it, grammar proof it, and then copy and paste it right into the scholarship application. The application will probably take you, once you have your essay written, maybe 5 minutes to complete, and then you just start matching to scholarships based on the things you can answer yes to, like what's your GPA, or what's your major going to be, or are you interested in singing, or are you interested in the arts? Are you going to major in music but focus on a performance in piano? Those kinds of things are all out there so you can match, and then you'll actually see which scholarships you're applying to. It's pretty cool. It's pretty easy.
Nice. So a little reminder, if you're new to Facebook Live or YouTube Live, you can ask us questions. So type your questions there in the chat box on either platform, and then we're going to ask those live and answer those live. So just keep plugging them in. And also something that I neglected to say earlier, but what was the name of the thing that just came through? What was that? Zeta, thank you. The hurricane.
I was like,
what?
Yeah, it's like a sorority girl. A sorority girl, Zeta.
Careful.
A sorority came through and added, okay, I'm not saying anything. No, it was, so from for all that have been impacted. I know many of us here on camera, I think we were all impacted today. I mean, I woke up multiple times last night and didn't go back to sleep very well and had no power for really the last 8 hours, 9 hours. So, but we've had loss of life here in Georgia, and it moved very quickly from New Orleans all the way up through. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's out there, including the KSU community that have been affected by this storm. And we're not used to things like that hitting us, mainly tornadoes and stuff like that. Lovely ice storms that we figure out ways to handle, but not really a fast-moving hurricane / tropical storm. All those things. So, just want to say that point as well. Yeah. Okay, so we have some questions already. Yeah. We can jump into your questions and then roll right through. We definitely want to utilize Sarah's knowledge here today, so we're going to hit her with all the heavy questions.
Okay. All right. So our first question comes from Ronald. He says, Hooty Hoo.
What up, Ronald? Hooty Hoo.
Hooty Hoo, Ronald. Okay. Can Daca students apply for any scholarships or financial aid?
So DACA students are not eligible for any of the federal aid programs at this point in time. I always like to add that caveat. There is constantly legislation being talked about changing that process. So right this second, unless some law changes in the next few months, which who knows, anything is possible. It is 2020. It could change. We do have some scholarship programs that those students are eligible for, so they can complete the scholarship application, submit it, and then they would be reviewed for eligibility for those scholarship programs. So
do the application.
Do the application.
That's what I heard, no matter what.
Yes, do the application no matter what.
Awesome. Cool. Good question.
All right. I'm hopping over to YouTube. Got a question from YouTube.
Nice.
Aubrey says they have filled out the Fafsa, but they're having a problem editing it. Is there an option to correct it once it's been submitted?
Yes, there is. You have to go back into your Fafsa and you should be able to make corrections. If you run into problems with it, you can reach out to us and we'll be happy to walk you through that and help you with that process. It should let you log back in and correct it, but it also kind of depends on what you're trying to correct. So if you need to reach out, contact the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid and we can help you get through that process if you can't get to where you can edit it.
That actually makes me think of something, Sarah. What's the best way to contact the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid?
You can call and you can use our 470 KSU info line. That will get you to the Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid. You can walk in. We have folks both on the Kennesaw campus and the Marietta campus. We also give you all of the counselors' email addresses. We assign every student a financial aid counselor by the first letter of their last name. And all of their email addresses are on the website, so you can email them directly. So whatever works best for you. If you want to talk to somebody in person, you can do that. If you want us to set up a virtual call with you, we will do that. Just let us know what you need, and we'll try to make it happen.
Okay, I'm dropping that link in the comments for you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect.
Okay, I have one more that's a little more specific, so I think I'm just going to try to answer it. So for now,
Okay.
Cool.
Very specific.
Cool.
So I'm going to throw in a plug real quick while I'm here.
Please.
So we are talking about the scholarship application, and it does open on Sunday, and we want you all to fill it out because we would love to get tons and tons and tons of applications so that we can choose the best students for our scholarship programs. But also you need to fill out your FAFSA. If you haven't filed your free application for federal student aid for 21-22, and I know it feels like it's really early, and it is almost a year in advance before the semester starts for fall of 2021. But if you will go ahead and do that, it uses your 2019 tax information. You can import that directly in from the IRS, which means it takes you like maybe 10 or 15 minutes to fill out all the rest of it, so it moves really quickly. Send that in. Our priority date for KSU for us to get that is the exact same date the scholarship application closes, so it's March 1st. So just go ahead and get them both filled out, send them both in, and know that you've done everything you need to do for us right now.
Nice. There's probably I'm trying to think of some colloquial phrase of like, don't put off work today that's like due tomorrow or something. Yeah, I'm looking at Jacinta because I think she's got it. But
I was just going to say, don't be a procrastinator.
yeah,
That works too.
I think that's honestly, when I look at my life, I use Facebook Live as like a time to confess a lot of things. Yeah. mainly because Jacinta's.
Do we have
I feel
to? Do we need
judged.
like a curtain up?
Yeah. Will you hear my confession and absolve me of my past sins of laziness? But I do think, I mean, a lot of things in life I talk about this quite often. It's just taking that first step. And something like the Fafsa, which for so many people feels daunting.
And it is.
You know,
I think it is the first time you look at it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's not hard because I'm used to looking at it all the time.
Right.
So for me, it's not hard.
Right.
But for everybody else, it is daunting. It's a little bit intimidating. And it's like, oh gosh, what am I going to do if I mess something up? Is there a chance to fix it?
Right.
Just like the question we had. Absolutely. You can fix it. We can help you fix it. I mean, it's not the end all be all if you answer something and then it needs to change. But it is daunting. It's a little intimidating.
Yeah. I think, I mean, one of the biggest things that so I have a college age student, and it was even for me, working in higher education and going to fill it out the first year, before her freshman year, it was a little intimidating, even having looked at it myself as a professional. But I love the IRS lookup tool. Honestly, I mean, I think a lot of people tend to avoid that, or not a lot of people, but I think what I hear from people is something about, I want to avoid it because I don't know, I don't want the government to know about my taxes or whatever. Yeah, guess what? They already do. So it's not, you're not, getting over anybody here, getting one over on anybody. So it made it so much easier to just use the tool.
Well, you're not looking at your tax return trying to go, okay, that's line 47. Let me go put those numbers in. I mean, it just pulls everything in.
Yeah.
So if you can use it, that is the best idea ever if it works for you. So
That's my advice. So don't put off, though. As Jacinta said, don't procrastinate. I was trying to think of some Southernism or something.
Let's see, what is it?
Yeah.
Don't put off today. No,
What you can
don't
do
put off.
tomorrow.
Yeah, something. I forgot how it goes.
There you
go.
in there, right?
Yeah.
So basically,
We'll get there.
if you have time today, because you have no idea we have no idea what December's going to look like, what February's going to look like, and then all of a sudden you're at the deadline and you haven't done it.
Right.
And you had time now to do it, right? So
Yes.
there you go.
Absolutely. 5 months. You got 5 months to get them both done.
It's a long time.
So that's a long time.
Pretty fast, though.
Yeah.
Sarah, can you talk a little bit about, you said that the scholarship application, it's kind of like an umbrella, we like to use that phrase, application, and then you are matched with scholarships. But are the scholarships for our students need-based? Are they merit-based? What do they kind of look like?
There's a mix of both. So, and there's different criteria that apply to all of them. And so I do want to give a plug for the donors that give their scholarship funds to KSU. I mean, they are what make these programs possible. It is through their generosity. And so some of them have said, they have specific requirements they want on their scholarship. So some are need-based. So some you do have to have a FAFSA filled out to be able to qualify for. Some are merit-based. They'll look at GPA either in college or high school. Some may ask about your test scores. So they may ask some of that information depending on what our donors specified. And then a lot of them are interest in things they've done. Did you go to a certain high school? Are you a Cobb County resident? There's just all kinds of things out there that the different donors have specified. So it was really up to them. And then we have some that have really no requirements on them at all. They are just scholarship awards for students. And so then for those, the committees just go through and look at the students that have applied and rank them, pick which ones they like best.
Nice.
So.
Can students kind of, even if they haven't applied for the scholarship yet or maybe haven't been accepted, can they still kind of look at the scholarships and kind of see what those qualifications are?
They absolutely can. So the internal ones will start showing up probably tomorrow. That will coincide with the application opening on Sunday. But as long as they have a net ID and password, so if they've at least applied to the university, they can get out there and look at them and see what's out there and what kind of opportunities are out there for them. So
Nice. This is a curveball question, sorry. What's the most unique scholarship that we have, internal scholarship? I know y'all talk about it behind the doors,
we really
behind the scenes. Like, wow,
we really,
look at this, this is the most unique one every year.
Well, I think there's some that you don't realize are out there. For instance, we've had several scholarships opened up that are specifically for our care center students. So those students that are experiencing homelessness or foster care of those kinds of things, those are kind of cool. We have some, there are lots of things in our School of the Arts There are lots of different ones. We have ones that are specifically for violin or string players. So
all
it's
the way
just
down to the instrument. Yeah,
all the way down to
that's
the
cool.
instrument. So it really just, there's a wide variety. There's about, I was trying to think, 376, 380 or something like that, different internal scholarships that are out there with all ranges of dollar amounts, and all kinds of different criteria. So
Nice. Well, then I'm going to put a challenge out there to people watching. So you need to give us your money, create the most unique scholarship. We'll name it after you.
and we'll talk about you.
Yeah, that's right. And then you can have the most unique scholarship at KSU. How cool would that be? That's what I'll strive for. I'll put
There
it
you
on my
go.
goal list.
Yeah.
There
When
you
I
go.
make all this tons of money, that's what I'm going to give my money to.
That would be
Jordan's
great.
unique scholarship.
Just Jordan.
Jordan's unique scholarship. All right, cool. Yeah, more questions? Awesome. Good.
Okay, so I'm going to try to just narrow this one down. Basically, Angela wants to know, I guess, or does it matter if
What
you're
up, Angela?
Hey, Angela. A lower class student versus upperclassmen, does that have any effect on your refund through a Fafsa? Like, what determines how much money you're going to get back on a Fafsa, and does your class standing have anything to do with that?
So for the Fafsa, the only thing that varies by class standing is the amount of student loans you can borrow. So as you progress through your academic career while you're a freshman, you're limited to, depending on a lot of criteria. So let me just throw some caveats out there. But generally, freshmen qualify for $5,500. When you're a sophomore, it goes up to $6,500 in loans, and for your junior and senior year, it's $7,500. And that's split between fall and spring semester. So really the only thing that goes up or rises on FAFSA with academic classification is loan levels. So for other programs, it's the same no matter whether you're a freshman or a senior.
Okay. Our next question, so you said the deadline is the same as the FAFSA? Mm-hmm. Okay, so and that's March 1st?
March 1st is the deadline for the scholarship application. There will be, for some of the students that are pending like auditions with our School of Music, they have a little bit longer, but those are specifically for those School of Music scholarships or those kinds of things. But you'll see that in the instructions on the scholarships, but generally the deadline is March 1st.
Awesome. Okay. Our next question, this is more of an admissions question, comes from YouTube. Benjamin says he took a college class during the summer, and he's pretty sure it's on his high school transcript. Does he still have to give a college transcript?
Yes.
Why am I having heard with that?
Transcript.
I can't get it out.
Yes,
Yes.
you have to submit a college transcript. We have a lot of students who are dual enrollment at other institutions, and you have to, although it's on your high school transcript, we need to be able to evaluate that course to give you the college credit, so that way you can move on to the next course once you're actually a degree-seeking student with us. So go ahead, contact the registrar's office at that institution and request for the registrar's office to send it to the Office of Undergraduate Admissions at KSU. And most colleges at this point do transcripts electronically, so it shouldn't take you that long to get that transcript and add it to your account. So that way we can start the process of evaluation for admission, because if you have college credit and you're applying as a freshman, we can't make a decision until we have that transcript with those grades on it.
Good question.
Awesome. Okay, back over to Facebook. I have a couple questions. So Me has asked, I still have a student loan from my first bachelor, still paying. Will I be eligible for financial aid and scholarships for a second bachelor's?
So yes, you will. As long as you haven't hit the lifetime limits on student loans, you can keep borrowing, and as long as your current loans are in good standing. And then we do have scholarships that are available for students that are pursuing a second bachelor's degree. So it's not just limited to that first bachelor's degree program.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay. Connie has our next question. If you fill out the GSFAPPS, that thing, do you still need to fill out the FAFSA to be eligible for scholarships?
You would have to have a FAFSA on file for any of them that are need-based. If you're not worried about need-based scholarships and you just want to do that GSF app that's good for Hobenzel Miller, you don't have to fill out a FAFSA to apply for any of the other scholarships that are merit-based or any of that kind of stuff. So it's a personal preference. If you're good knowing that you're going to check those scholarships off that you wouldn't qualify for that are need-based, then that's fine.
Okay, awesome.
And so while you brought up GSF app,
Oh, go ahead.
and that leads to Hobenzel Miller. So the Hobenzel Miller scholarship programs, we've been getting a lot of calls about Zell Miller specifically and test scores, because so many schools have said we're not going to require test scores for the fall. And what about Zell Miller? What's going to happen? We don't know. So the governor extended the amount of time for you to take the test if you graduated or if you started in fall of 2020. He's pretty much said you can submit your test scores all the way through like June of 2021 and still qualify for Zell Miller. So they extended that deadline. There is some legislation that's going to be introduced when the Georgia General Assembly starts meeting in January about removing the test score component from Zell Miller, but that has not been passed. There's nothing been done with that yet. And as of today, you are still required to have that test score component to qualify for Zell Miller. It's a 26 on the ACT or a 1200 on the SAT critical reading and math. So who knows what may happen in the coming months, and we certainly will make sure that you get updated and everybody has that information, but right now you still have to have those test scores. So,
And talk a little bit about the GSF app and the difference between the Fafsa, because I recognize we get a lot of questions in admissions just about Hobenzel Miller in general, right? But I think that some families are still surprised that there actually is a Georgia Student Finance app, and then there's the Fafsa, and which one do I do, and all that stuff. So talk a little bit about the GSF app.
So the GSF app only applies you to Hobenzel Miller scholarships, so that's all it can be used for, but it's good for 10 years. So you only have to fill it out once. But again, if you decide later that you need to borrow a student loan, your GSF app won't help with that. So, but if you fill out a FAFSA, that will also apply you for Hobenzel Miller. So you can use that as your application, but it will also look at all the other types of financial aid. What we've typically told students is, especially like entering freshmen, fill out the FAFSA your first year. Check it out, see what you qualify for. If you don't want to borrow student loans or you didn't qualify for anything other than student loans, don't fill it out again, go fill out the GSF app. That will get you your Hobenzel. But we encourage you to at least fill out the FAFSA once, so that you know. And you never know. Things happen, and if you already have that FAFSA on file and you needed to come back and borrow a student loan in spring term because something happened, everything's there and it's ready for you. So it's up to you, and we always tell parents and students it's up to you what you want to do. But if we have the FAFSA on file and you need help at a later date, then we have everything we need to be able to look at that and get that started for you. So.
Have you heard me tell my story about why you need to fill out the FAFSA?
No.
No? Okay,
I
well,
haven't
here
heard
it
you.
is.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, well, get ready. I'm shifting in my seat. So I tell students and families all the time, even if you feel like you're a family that isn't going to quote unquote, isn't going to qualify for anything, right? And whatever that means. And I usually preface it with, even if you're Michael Jordan's kids or Usher's kids, or so I pick some celebrity.
Right.
I pick Usher because of Atlanta, but we'll try to make it relevant. But Michael Jordan's relevant again. Even if you're LeBron James's kids, you should fill out the FAFSA. And not saying that my family is LeBron James level or Michael Jordan rich, because we're not.
Well, then we'd already have that Jordan's unique scholarship.
That's right. The
just scholarship.
Just give me that scholarship. So I was going to college, and after my freshman year, my dad lost his job. And going back for sophomore year was starting to look like it was not going to happen. I remember the conversation that goes something like this. My dad said, "Hey, did you ever fill out the FAFSA?" And I said, "No."
Right.
Like, how do I do this? What do I do?
Right.
And so he was like, "You better figure it out." And so, and I get it. It was a stressful situation. So I call the school that I attended, and they said, "Well, no, you don't have a FAFSA on file." I was like, "Yeah, I knew that," because I know I never filled it out. And I was like, "Help me." So they did. They helped me. I got it in and was able to qualify for student loans. And thankfully didn't end up needing them. Everything worked out. Dad got a job, and I was able to go back to school without that. But it was hairy there for a minute, and not that it would be the end of the world, but I did not have one on file, so it wasn't like I could call up at the time the institution I was attending and say, "Hey, I need to activate those loans that you offered me." That was a hairy situation, and it could have been a lot less stressful.
Well, and the other piece of that is, we're in 2020. We've said that a couple of times. Ooh. Things are weird. We know lots of people's financial situations have changed. Even filling out the Fafsa for 21-22, you're using your 2019 tax information, which was a very different year than what we've been in with 2020. So we do have a process then to take a second look at it. You can submit documentation to us that shows if your parents lost their job, or if you've had some kind of medical issue with high medical expenses, all of that we can take into consideration and do a second look at your Fafsa to see if we can make adjustments to it to really more reflect what your family's ability to pay is. Fafsa is not trying to be punitive or penalize you or anything like that based on your income, but it really is trying to look at your family's ability to pay. And I know everybody fills it out and they're like, it said I could pay this much, but I really can't. We get that too. But just know that with being the year that it is, we know that we're going to be ready to review and look at stuff for students that may have different family situations, because 2019 looks very different than what 2020 looks like.
Nice.
Can students make payment plans? Because I know you were just talking about it's going to look different. I can't pay for this. How does that work? How do payment plans work?
They absolutely do, or absolutely can. Our bursar's office offers a payment plan every semester, and so it's done by the semester. So it's one semester at a time. You can sign up for the payment plan depending on how early you sign up. This is another perk of one of those being an early orientation, getting everything done early. The earlier you sign up, the more payments you can have to spread out that balance that you owe. A lot of our students will use that while they're waiting to hear about financial aid. And so they're in their payment plan, so everything's good. And then when their financial aid is processed, they can cancel the payment plan or revise it accordingly. So yeah, you absolutely can do that, both for tuition and fees and for housing. There's payment plans for both, so that you don't have to come up with all that money at the beginning of the semester.
Yeah.
Sarah, let's talk a little bit about verification, because I know we're going to get to a point where people are going to receive verification notices, and well, really, I'm thinking more for fall 2021, but I know it's every semester. There's verification notices going out. What is the verification process like, and what do students and families need to do?
So about 30% of our applicants for financial aid have to go through verification. It is not KSU picks you. It is the Department of Education picks you, and usually when you get your results back from your Fafsa, it'll say you have been selected for verification. Contact your school, or you'll hear from your school what those documents are. If you used that data retrieval process when you filled out your Fafsa and you're selected for verification, it is basically a form that you fill out, and it verifies the number in your household and the number in college. And that's all done online through AliExpress, uses e-sign, and it's all done in a secure portal. So you don't have to bring anything in, you don't have to print anything. It lets you send an e-signature to your parent if your parent needs to sign it. So everything's done electronically. If you don't use that data retrieval process, then you're going to be asked to be able to provide either signed copies of your tax returns or a copy of your tax return transcript from the IRS. Those are really the two major things, is that worksheet and the tax information that's the verification process. And it truly is just a process to verify what was put on your Fafsa. It doesn't necessarily mean you did anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you said something that the Department of Education flagged you for. Some of them are randomly selected. So they have some formulas, but they never tell us what it is. So, but it's about 30% of our applications are selected. You do it all on AliExpress. It's very, very easy. Same thing about the taxes. It's all secure upload, no issues with your tax information floating around to anybody. And we review it, and typically we are reviewing stuff in about 3 to 5 days is what we try to shoot for with reviewing all of that stuff. Obviously, if everybody waits till August or July to turn all that stuff in, it takes us longer because we're waiting and working with everybody else. So we have not started sending notices out for 21-22 yet, but they will be out in the next few weeks. And so go ahead and submit your documents and get your stuff taken care of, and it's one less thing to worry about come fall.
Don't put it off.
Yes. That can be our theme. for everything financial aid related.
Especially, yeah.
Don't delay.
Please don't put it off.
Right.
I mean, we want to help you, and we want to give you plenty of time to plan. So the earlier you know exactly what you're going to need to pay, how much you're going to owe. If you need to research other options to pay your balance, the sooner you get it done, the sooner you know, so you can make those plans.
Right.
So
That's really good. Can you talk a little about the out-of-state tuition
I can talk a little bit
waiver?
about it.
A little bit about the
Oh, not about the waiver.
No, okay.
Sorry.
I can talk about the one that we give out.
There you go.
Jordan, do
I was going to say, we do not handle the waiver
you
process.
know so much, Sarah.
I
and
don't
so
know
I just
that.
was just looking at you because I knew you knew
It's
so
going to make
much.
me sad. I don't know that. We are not involved in the waiver process. So Jordan, take that one away.
Nice, good deflection.
Yeah.
If you are interested, if you're an out-of-state student or you're an international student and you're coming to KSU, and this is for first-time students, this is for transfer students, you do have to be degree seeking for I think pretty much every waiver. I'm not 100% certain. There's probably 9 different types of tuition waivers that are out there, and basically what we're talking about is for students that would come to the state of Georgia and you want to qualify for not necessarily in-state tuition, but you want to pay in-state costs.
Right.
Is basically what it is. So the way that undergraduate admissions uses our tuition waivers, and we're allotted a certain amount each year, and we're maintaining those, and basically we treat them like scholarships. It is a competitive process. You apply for the tuition waiver. So if you're a student out there and you're from California, or you're from Texas, or Illinois, or Kentucky, wherever you're from, and you want to come to KSU, but you're worried about affording paying out-of-state tuition, and if you're a highly qualified student, you can fill out the out-of-state tuition waiver and scholarship application. We review those students in the spring. The application closes March the 1st every year, and it's for the fall that will follow. But it's an incredible award. It takes you from paying out-of-state tuition, which is, I'll just throw out a number for tuition, roughly $9,000, on down to the in-state tuition rate per semester. So you're paying around $2,700. And just again, I'm throwing out general numbers here, but it's a fantastic award, and you get it for your entire time at KSU. So as you work towards completing your bachelor's degree, whether you're a transfer student or you're a first-year student, we've been really blessed over the years to be able to give out more of those waivers as we've continued to grow as an institution. So that's really exciting. The waiver is accessible on the admissions website, admissions.kennesaw.edu. And something exciting about the waiver for 2021 is that we do not have a test score requirement, just GPA requirements. So big deal. That's a big deal because that test score usually was a make it or break it for students. But now we just have a GPA requirement. So apply, fill it out. It is a competitive process, holistic review. We do look at your letters of rec. We look at your application and the way you answer questions, what you're interested in coming to study here at KSU, where you're from, all those kinds of things. So please fill it out. We also have the international tuition waiver. Follow those steps. That's also available on our admissions website, admissions.kennesaw.edu. And then we have military and veteran waivers. We have all sorts of other waivers as well.
But another March 1st deadline.
Yes, all March 1st, exactly. So all your money things are due March 1st.
March 1st.
Yeah, don't put it off.
Yeah.
So we'll start review after they close the beginning of March, and usually we have the first round of awards go out a couple weeks after the deadline closes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
What was the name of that waiver? We got a follow-up question.
Out-of-state tuition waiver and scholarship.
I'll leave
It's
the
as
link.
long as Sarah's title, or maybe slightly shorter, but yeah.
And that's it for questions right now.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
So you want to talk about Hope a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do talk about
So
Hope a little bit more.
currently at KSU, Hope pays 90% of tuition. So that is what it works out to be. And so, and that's different by school. So if you're applying to several different schools and looking at what you qualify for, and know you're going to be a Hope recipient, it will be different from school to school. So you'll want to look at that. And that's right now for the 2021 year. We won't hear the award amounts for 21-22 probably till sometime in April or May if it changes or goes up or goes down and all that kind of stuff. But I like to tell parents and students that because I had a parent call me a while back, and they were making their student take the SAT over and over and over and over trying to get the Zell-Miller test score. And so, which is perfectly fine. You're welcome to do that. But they then realized that it's an $18 difference per credit hour between Hope and Zell-Miller, or about $200 a semester here at KSU. Now, it may be different at other schools, but here at KSU, the difference between what Zell-Miller pays and what Hope pays, I think it's $280, something like that. So it's a real reasonable difference. So we're real fortunate that Hope pays 90% here. And so if you are knowing you're going to be an owl and you know you are going to be Hope eligible and you're thinking, do I take that SAT 3 or 4 more times? Decide if it's worth it. But it's, like I said, it's $18 an hour difference between the two. So either way, it makes it very affordable to be at KSU if you're a Hope Scholar. So you're looking at a couple $100s out of pocket for tuition and then fees for whatever you're doing. So
I actually use that story that you tell. I talk about it when we do a day with honors,
right?
To explain, because those are high ability students coming to learn about the honors college, and I do share that to say if you're not Zell eligible, if you're a Hope recipient, in your family, do not go leave here and be mad at your kids and yell at your kids and all over an $18 per credit hour difference.
Well, that's what I told the dad, and he was like, I feel so bad right now. And I was like, listen, I get it. I understand, it's just the way it works at KSU. The difference is not that big of a difference. And so obviously, full tuition is great, and Zell-Miller is very prestigious. But you want to decide, how much stress do you put your student under, or how many times do you pay that fee to take the test before it's not getting a return on it.
Thousands of dollars.
Save on the money you make them take the test.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Save for tuition.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's a wash.
So,
I mean, because we know some families will pay thousands of dollars to do test prep and have a private tutor and do all those things. And and at the end of the day, it just might not be worth it.
It is. And so if you're watching and your student is here now and they are a Hope recipient, fall semester is going to be over before we know it. It's speeding right along. But those first checkpoints for Hope for that 3.0 GPA won't be till the spring. So if your student doesn't, maybe they have a little bit of a bumpy fall semester, a bumpy start, don't panic. Don't worry. They have till the end of spring semester to make sure they have that 3.0 Hope GPA. So got a little bit of time before they have to hit the panic button. And hopefully nobody's hitting the panic button. They'll all keep their hope the whole time they're here.
Yes.
Right. That'd be awesome.
That's the hope.
And can students...
She said that's the hope.
I know, it took
You have to laugh.
Sorry.
And then I didn't make it loud enough. So. Jacinta's is like full on ready to ask this question.
Yes,
Sorry.
okay, I'm ready.
And
So if a student is a current student, they're here at KSU, they're getting their degree, can a student earn Hope?
They can.
Okay.
So if you came to KSU and you weren't a Hope Scholar, or you came from out of state and you established residency here, we will check to see if you can earn the Hope Scholarship when you've attempted 30, 60, or 90 hours. 90 is the last time you can earn it, but you can earn it then by having the 3.0 and meeting all the residency requirements. So yep, they absolutely can. Can't earn Zell-Miller.
Yes.
So you can't flip-flop. Right now it is that you have to be eligible for Zell-Miller when you graduate from high school. Otherwise, that's the only chance for it right now. But like I said earlier, anything's subject to change. Who knows?
Sarah, a big question that we get in admissions is, what all can a student use their financial aid for at the institution? We have tuition, we have housing cost, meal plan, books. What all can they use their financial aid to pay?
So they can use it to pay anything that's classified an educational expense. I mean, that could be transportation, that could be clothing, they get an allowance for personal expenses. So I think the misconception is sometimes we tell them financial aid can be used for all of that, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to get enough financial aid to cover everything. So there are limits on the programs. That's not to say you can't make your financial aid cover everything, but it won't for everybody. And the other piece of that is you still got to remember that when we talk about financial aid, we're also talking about student loans. A lot of people think financial aid should just be free money. You know, I get free money pays for everything. You absolutely can get enough in student loans to pay the entire amount every semester, have everything set, it cover everything that it costs you to go to school. But when you start talking about our scholarship and grant programs, you may wind up with some out of pocket if you don't borrow the student loans. So, but they absolutely can use it for housing. We have a lot of students that use it for their housing on campus, or they'll get a refund and use their financial aid to pay their housing off campus. So they can use it for anything that's classified an educational expense.
Where does their refund go?
So once their tuition and fees have been paid here, we use Bank Mobile is the name of the company. It's through our Bursar's office, and they issue the refunds based on what the student wants. The student can have it sent direct deposit back to their bank account. They can get a paper check, or they can request a prepaid card kind of thing with Bank Mobile, where they'll send the money on it that they can use for that.
You know what? When I started working in higher ed, I'm not going to date you, Sarah. I'm going to date myself and say I remember.
Well, we've probably been about the same amount of time, Jordan.
Yes. They don't need to know. But I remember when it was refund, like day, when the first day of refund would start. And the institution I worked at the time, financial aid was one floor above admissions. And it would just be a line out, like down the stairwell, out the building. People waiting in line to get their check. Jacinta, that's right, that paper. Get that paper.
Just tear it off, sign it, go to the bank.
Felt real.
It feels
so
good.
real. Yeah, and the place I worked, they give you a big check. It was like
so
a
you
big
knew
one.
that it was like.
Yeah, you were like a Price Water, whatever that is.
Price is right?
No.
Publishers Clearinghouse.
Publishers Clearinghouse.
The big check.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it'd be like you walking out with a big check. So not really, but it was one of those longer ones that like businesses use, So anyways, I don't know. I can't tell you last time I saw a check. Probably in Jacinta's checkbook.
I was like, that would be crazy to hand out refund checks.
Yeah.
That would be a crazy time. Come get your check.
Yeah. But it was a day. That was a day. I mean, it was a lot of days, but the first day was the best day. So it's different now. Now it's just direct deposit into your bank. Like,
It is, yeah.
Technology, so cool.
I tell you.
So cool. Yeah.
They probably wouldn't know. Some people wouldn't know what to do with the check if they got it.
Let me tell you, I actually get physical checks. So if you want to deposit, you just go to your ATM and feed it into the little machine.
You don't even have
you can even take a picture
I was
on
gonna
your
say,
phone.
take a picture with your phone and
I used to
deposit
not
it.
trust that. I remember
I
this
still
was
don't
probably
trust
the
it.
mid-2000s. Yeah. Jacinta's wise.
Do you still balance your checkbook every month?
I don't balance my checkbook, but I do it for my parents, and it's like so satisfying.
Quicken, man.
It's so great. I just love to write in the little legend. Like, it's so wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
I don't balance my checkbook. I just ask my wife.
Do we have any money left in there?
Yeah.
Or
And
check the app.
May I have some?
Check the app. Is there any money still in there?
$5? Yeah, right. No, I used to not trust that. Taking a picture of it, that seemed a little strange. But my dad works in banking, and he's like, no, the technology is really good. It reads the check. It's quicker.
Jacinta's like not gonna have
it.
it.
It's secure because you're logging in through your device, right? It's secure because of all of those security protocols. Anyways, pretty cool. There you go. So yeah, take a picture with your phone. You're good. Cool.
Sure.
Okay, I think we have some more questions.
Just one more.
Let's take them. Okay, cool.
This might be kind of a fun one. Has KSU ever given out a full ride scholarship?
That's a good question.
I was trying to think.
Define full ride
Define
first,
full
which
ride.
we can define.
Now,
and then,
it depends on, it does kind of depend on that. We have lots of students that will come in maybe with Zell Miller, and they get scholarships that help pay for all their fees and housing. But in terms of, do we have a scholarship that says we pay for everything, tuition fees, books, everything out the door, and you've been awarded that scholarship? No. But we have lots of students who have combined Hope or Zell and then used other scholarships. We have lots of partners that do scholarships that have brought in other stuff. But I was trying to think if we have one that says it's a full ride per se, and I don't think we do. But some of them, I mean, we have several scholarships that are $5,000 a year. That's $2,500 a semester. I mean, that, and if you are a Hope recipient on top of that, that's $5,000 a semester you're going to get. So you're going to cover a lot of your tuition and fees and maybe the meal plan out of that alone.
Yeah. So that's actually a good question. It makes me think about stacking scholarships. So help people understand, what does that mean to stack scholarships?
So if you were to come to KSU and you got one of our foundation scholarships and you also had Hope Scholarship, you can keep going and stacking on top to cover any of your educational expenses. We have students that come in that may bring 10 or 15 external scholarships with them. $500 from their church here, $1,000 from their high school, their PTA gave out a scholarship, those kinds of things. There is a cap. You can only go so high, which is what we talk about our cost of attendance being. We have a number that thinks if you had to pay up every single penny for everything, what would that be? And that's right around $25,000. That's housing, meal plans, transportation, clothing, miscellaneous expenses, book supplies. I mean, it's more than what most students would pay. Right. But you can go all the way up to that with scholarships, as long as the scholarships don't have some kind of crazy restriction on them that say like tuition only. So Hope only can pay for tuition. Zell Miller can only pay for tuition, but everything else on top of that, as long as it says that educational expense, like when you were talking about the refunds a while ago, what can you use it for? It can go for anything that goes. And yes, most students can get refunds off of scholarships. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Do we have any information on like external scholarships, or how students should look at external scholarships?
We do. Okay. It's in that same portal where you're going to fill out your internal scholarship application. It's Scholarship Universe. And it's really, it will tell you all kinds of external scholarships that you qualify based on those same questions you answer. It also will send you an email when new external scholarships are added and tell you there are new scholarships that you've qualified for, or there's a deadline upcoming. So it does all of that, and those are all vetted. And one of the big things that, if you've heard us talk before, either in the virtual open house session or when I've been on with Jordan before, please don't pay somebody to find you a scholarship. We hear all the time horror stories of families that gave somebody $250 to find them a scholarship application or that kind of things. Please don't do that. You can use this tool and search for external scholarships. The other spot I would recommend is if you're still in high school, you're a high school senior, go talk to your high school counselor. They will be the ones that know about like the ones that your PTA does. They will usually know about the local ones, local community organizations. Yeah. But ask. You never know who may give out a scholarship that you just weren't familiar with. Whether it's a civic organization, your church, those kinds of things. Your mom was a member of a certain sorority, or your dad a fraternity, they give a scholarship. You just never know. And I mean, $500 at a time adds up really fast. It may not feel like it's a big award, but if you have 10 $500 scholarships, that's $5,000 right there. That's money you don't have to repay. That's free money to pay for your education. So,
absolutely.
Can you maybe reiterate a little bit more about Scholarship Universe and how everything can be found there?
I sure
Internal
can.
And external?
I sure can. So right now, if you go out to Scholarship Universe today, and it's kennesaw.scholarshipuniverse.com, if you go out there today, all you're going to see is external scholarships. But this weekend, you will start seeing all of our internal scholarships in the system too. So the nice thing about all the internal scholarships is it's one application. So you fill out that application, it tells you every scholarship that you match to, and you just hit apply and you start applying to all of them. For the external scholarships, it will also show you ones that you match to, but you'll have to follow their application process. So we don't collect the applications for the external ones. It may send you to their website to complete the process, or tell you need to send something somewhere. Those will all be done through them, but it's all kept right there in one place, so that you can see all of it at one time.
Hence why you want to pay attention to your email, like you were talking about, Sarah. So as new things pop up, new scholarship opportunities, jump in there, follow their instructions.
And we try to be real proactive with it so that it will push you a reminder that there's a deadline coming up and let you know to go ahead and fill those out. So we hope that it makes it a little bit easier for you to find those external scholarships, and then all your internal scholarships will be in one place.
I actually got an email, I think yesterday, from Scholarship Universe, so yeah, it works.
Nice. What are you doing, Jacinta? Go back to school? You gonna
No.
No?
She was checking it out.
Yeah,
Seeing how
I'm
it
pretty
works.
sure that's probably what it was.
That's
I was just checking it out.
Yeah. It actually looks really cool. I've
does.
logged in multiple. I mean,
It's
I
nice.
know we're higher ed professionals talking to each other about what's really cool, but it's a very up-to-date website and up-to-date application.
Very clean.
It's clean. Yes, thank you. Well said. Yeah.
And it's easy to see, it will tell you, you potentially qualify for 25 scholarships representing, $5,000 or whatever the amounts and numbers are. So it tries to whittle it down so it's giving you a realistic options of what you qualify for and not just, hey, you can get $5 million.
Right.
So
So it sounds like students have some homework this weekend.
they do. They do.
If your neighborhood's not trick-or-treating, or you just don't do that for other reasons, then while you're not, or while you're binge watching The Mandalorian, which comes out tomorrow on
does it
Disney
start
Plus.
tomorrow?
Yeah, the second season. So I'll be watching that if you want to know what Jordan's doing this weekend.
My family will be so happy.
They're watching
They've all
Halloween.
watched it.
What? What did you
Instead
say,
of
Giselle?
watching Halloween. 1 through.
Oh, horror
50.
movies.
Yeah.
Horror
We don't talk about
movies.
scary movies. This is a family show.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, me and Becca.
Love that.
We're gonna be watching scary movies.
Yeah, watch.
Sorry.
What is the Halloween 3 is like a weird one. It's like
Yeah.
It's like,
There's
Well, we've got,
totally-
like-
it gets off
It's
script.
like Halloween 10.
Really
It's like
quick-
Fast and
really
the Furious.
quick.
It never
Curtis
ends.
is
Yeah.
like in
Oh no!
some
Don't
of
be
them, but
comparing
not
it to
all
Fast
of
and the Furious.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Tokyo Drift. That's my face.
There's the one that got off.
I don't think I've ever seen a Halloween.
You're okay.
It's
don't
time
watch
to
it.
start.
You're fine
No,
for
just
it.
the first one.
The first one
Yeah,
is
the
definitely
first one's
worth
good.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Okay.
first one and you're cool.
Okay.
It made me realize I forgot I was gonna bring part of my Halloween costume.
What are you gonna be?
I'm not gonna tell you. I was
Wow.
I was gonna bring it on set. I was gonna bring it on set and wear it, and then I totally with Zeta and all of that. I totally forgot it at home. As I was
Well, we don't care.
as I was manually lifting my garage door to get out, that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
we had to do that at our house too.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good times.
Pull the little string and you can get out. So
Distraction.
word to the wise there.
Oh, we just
so.
got another question.
All right, fire away.
Do you have to be enrolled or just accepted to KSU to use the scholarship tool? That's a great question.
Yeah, good question.
So actually, you can see the external ones based on being an applicant. So if they've submitted an application and they've gotten their net ID and password, they activated everything, then they can get in and search for external ones. You do need to be accepted for the internal scholarships.
Nice. There you go. Cool. Well, we are at the end of our time, but Sarah, we love to always ask our guests, what's one piece of advice that you're going to leave students and families with out there in Facebook and YouTube land?
Start the process early. Don't procrastinate. You've heard us say that several times. But please, even if you're one of those that are like, I don't want to think about it right now, start thinking about it in January. Add it to your to-do list for the new year so that you've still got plenty of time to meet the deadlines. And then pay attention to your KSU student email. That is where everything that our office sends out goes to. So if you're looking for that email that tells you about scholarship opportunities, it's going to be in that KSU email address. So please be sure to check that. That's how we communicate with you.
Gotcha. Wise words from Sarah. So thank you. We'll give you a whole segment. Ooh, this is for the
We
future.
could call it Wise Words with Sarah.
I like it. Okay, now this is what we're
It's
gonna
like
work
a
on
Delilah.
when we're done. Yeah, but way better. She's a snooze fest.
I like Delilah. She was great.
Of course you do. I bet you donate money to her with your checkbook.
Do you submit requests? No. Okay. Just had to check.
If you're out there and you're a Delilah fan, then vote for Jacinta. Type in "I love Jacinta" in the chat, whichever platform you're on. It's fine. And it'll make her feel good.
That's good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So
We're going to sing it
there you
now.
go. Free plugs for Delilah. The next will be Sarah. Yes.
Sarah.
I like
Wise
it.
words with Sarah. From Sarah. Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Wise words from Sarah. I love it. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be so cool. Thank y'all for spending your afternoon with us. If you're watching this later on because you did not have internet, we appreciate you tuning in later on and checking this out. If you have questions, please let us know what those questions are. So Sarah dropped a really, really cool newer thing that we have here, and it's just an info line. It's to make everything at the university accessible for you, so you don't have to fumble around trying to find the right thing. So it's just 470 KSU info. If you're curious, if you have like an iPhone and you're like, what are the letters mean, right? Just stare at the numbers for a minute, and you'll see the letters appear. So they're there next to all the numbers. So just trying to help you out. If you didn't have a touch tone phone like I did,
A rotary
or
phone.
a rotary phone like back in the day. Yep. I actually talked to my parents about that the other day. Oh yeah, that was fun. Did you ever leave your finger in it and it drags your finger back with it? Oh, that was cool. So the students don't even know what
They don't know what we're talking
they have no
about.
idea.
Maybe we should have a rotary phone sitting here the next.
You
Facebook
bring that. I
You
know.
could call Delilah on it.
I knew you did. I knew you had one.
She could call Delilah on it. Well,
That's her
it's
Delilah.
my check.
It was like the really fancy one with the long, like.
Hold on.
Yes.
No. I got it. You bring the phone and we'll call Sarah on it for her wise words from Sarah.
It's the rotary phone. Yes, that's
If
great.
you made it through this far of this Facebook Live and YouTube Live, then you're a true champion, and we appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful and safe weekend. If you do trick or treat, we hope that people shower you with the best candy, the
Yes.
full chocolate bars, none of the like
Fun
Starburst junk, or
Those are
or
all
the sweet
orange.
tarts or stuff. We hope you get full candy bars.
Pink Starburst.
Scholarship Universe, Kennesaw.scholarshipuniverse.com. November
Absolutely.
1st opens up
Opens up.
big time. So Sunday, get your scholarship application in. Sarah wants to see record numbers in
Absolutely.
the Scholarship Universe app. That's going to be cool. So, and they'll be watching it. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here. We always end with allies.
Allies.
And Hooty Hoo. So here we go. Let's close it out.
Hooty Hoo.